Hello, welcome. We are doing some fight analysis of the Princess Sleeve tournament that happened at this past 12th night. I am Revna Jorgennson. I am the Kingdom social media officer and also a fencer. And with me today is Master Joseph. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Joseph Levson, Master of Fencing in the SCA. Currently also the Kingdom Earl Marshal for our kingdom, so I'm doing a lot. I've been fencing for about 10 years now. I started in 2015, and I was the winner of the most recent sleeve.
Mhm. All right. So we'll start. We're gonna go by round, so we don't just have a bunch of Baldwin in a row, but we do have a lot of Baldwin fights to go over.
It
So we'll
will
start
be
with
the Baldwin show today.
this is the Baldwin show. We'll start with Aidman versus Robert, though.
All right, excellent. So do you want to start with these slowed down, or do you want to?
We'll start watching them full speed and then we'll slow them down. And
All right.
Robert is on the right in the red, and Aidman is blocked by Marshall right now, but he's on the left, and I think he's in like a blue tunic.
Yes, he is in a blue tunic. I also want to note that this one took a little bit of time, so we're starting off with a long one here. And Edmund does not usually fight Spanish, but was fighting Spanish today because
Yes,
his knees were bothering him, I believe. So
that
um,
makes sense.
should be a good one to watch and just kind of
All
analyze.
right.
So without further ado, classic getting caught in the belt. Gotta love it. Oh man, I feel like this one is going to be a lot of us just staring at dead space for a little bit until something
This
happens.
is it is a lot of just them doing footwork at each other for a while.
The the fencing mating dance, doing footwork at each
Yep.
other.
Okay, that first one was actually pretty fast.
That was a fairly clean, straight. Wow, that
That
was a
one was
perfect
very
move.
nice. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really think we need to cover this one too in depth. All
Yeah,
that
we
really
can slow
happened,
down the
people.
shot because it was a very nice shot
That
to
is
get
true.
slowed
We
down.
can
It was a
slow
very
this
pretty
down.
shot.
Let's do it at 0.25. So, I mean, Robert's plan here is to shift off to the right.
Yep.
Edmonds sees that and shifts left, but doesn't also shift out of measure, as
Hmm.
Robert's using small gaining steps here to get closer and closer to Edmund. Eventually, Robert sees his opening, shoots it. Edmund steps back from it. Robert will again do the same plan of creeping forward and then throwing a lunge
Yep.
offline into Edmund's neck. So,
Very nice. Very pretty shot.
mhm. This is also one of those tournaments where everyone got a death as well. So you're supposed to die pretty. So you
There
can see
were
a lot of
some
people falling
quite
over, but
glorious
don't be
deaths.
worried.
I got concerned at one of Tomas's deaths when he was on the ground. It's like, is bro okay? It was just his death.
Yeah, there was one where we'll see it later actually with Alwyn versus Sevilla, where
Yeah.
Sevilla was like, "Did I actually concuss him?" Oh God! All right, into the second round here.
This one might be the long bout. I know there's a couple longer bouts between these guys.
Yeah, I can't remember if they did 1-1 and then it ended up being the long bout at the end, or if it was one and then two was a
Yeah,
long bout
I'm not sure.
and three was short.
A lot of ooh, that were I don't know what
Oh,
happened there actually.
a
Was that a
double
double?
kill.
I think that was a
Yes.
double.
I remember watching this live. Hold on. This one is somewhat interesting. So Robert's style is refused, meaning one of the things that he has to do is he has to bring his sword up and over, whereas Aidman's sword already partially extended
Hmm.
here, kind of a relaxed Spanish style guard. Means that all really Aidman has to do is, lock his elbow and he'll be doing the equivalent of a lunge or a thrust in their system. Um, so I think this was just a classic case of both opponents just not addressing the blade.
Yeah.
Aidman
Oh, yep.
stepped in with a disengage, caught Robert in the neck. Robert caught Aidman in the face. Both of
Yep.
them weren't parrying on their way in.
Not not at all.
Yep. So I forgot that there was that double kill in there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. I mean, Aidman had a nice disengage, but then he did not address the
Yep, a
Robert's
disengage
blade enough.
into four instead of a disengage into
Yep,
two. Yep. So he didn't push the sword out at all.
yep.
Which, to be fair, with this style, I mean, the reason Robert fights like this is to keep his blade elusive. So
Hmm.
blade contact isn't something that Robert's necessarily looking for,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
is
most
what Spanish
refused
wants.
fencers do not want any blade contact in general.
Yep. And Spanish is I would consider it the exact opposite. It wants nothing but blade
Yes.
contact.
Yeah, Spanish is basically based off of blade contact. Refuse is based off of don't touch my blade.
Hmm. A little arrest of the momentum there. Robert was going to throw.
Hmm.
Aitken stopped it. Aitman's doing quite well for Spanish not being his main style.
Yeah, he fought pretty well that day, especially for doing Spanish and no secondary.
Hmm. Oh, all
That was
right.
the one that it took Robert a second to call.
Yeah, I don't know what I just saw there, actually. Let me
I remember seeing this one in person. I think the angle of this is kind of hard to see, but it like plants on Robert's chest.
okay. Yeah, from the video it might be a little more
Yeah,
difficult to see. So creeps in here with this back step. Oh, almost goes for the lunge. Thinks
yep.
about it. Ooh, the classic. Huh. Okay. Yep, there it is.
Yeah,
All right. So oh no, Edmund's fine. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, based on what I just saw there, it looks like Aidman briefly got tangled up in Robert's dagger, was able to get out, pulled
Yeah.
over, parried the sword, and then went into Robert with that parry as well.
Mhm.
So seems pretty straightforward to me as well. Not much analysis to do on that one. One of the things I do want to note is Aidman is, whoa, never mind.
This was pretty sick.
Never
This was good.
mind. I was analyzing the exact wrong fight.
Is
Okay,
that
hold
the one where
on.
Edmund died? Yeah, I think that was the one where Edmund died. They both look very similar.
They do look very
I think
similar.
that is the one where Edmund got shot in the face. I think that's why I
Yeah.
grabbed his face. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this
this
is the one
angle
where
is
Aiden
not
gets
the
shot.
best for this fight.
Yeah, this angle is hard. So yes, this one we just looked at. That's
This is
why,
the one
okay,
where Edmund dies. Yeah, yeah.
that's why I was so confused because I was like, wait a minute, none of this looks like Robert dying. Hold on.
Here
Is
we
it
go.
this one?
Because it is a little hard to see this shot at this angle.
That is true.
I think it is this one that we were looking for.
I don't think it is. Oh, yep. It definitely wasn't.
No,
So are we
you
just
gotta
gonna
go
go?
back farther.
I'm
I
trying.
think the last bout is the one that took a while.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's 2.5.
All
All
right.
right. All right. Brief momentary confusion.
Technical errors. There you go. That's a nice
All right. So
parry.
just short on Aidman here.
Yeah.
Goes for Robert's hand.
I think Aidman got his left hand shot at
Yes.
the end there.
So short on Aidman's chest. He hit him in the left.
Yep.
Went for Robert's arm. Looked like flat. Yep. And then there was
That's
the
yeah.
plant.
Yep.
There was the plant. Okay. That looks a lot more like what I was expecting. Okay. After briefly confusing ourselves, we're back. Okay. Um, so I want to notice Aidman's feet here because I think the feet are actually what carried this motion through. If you see this step
That
here,
cross step, yeah.
this cross step, all this did, and this is something that I think is very important that a lot of fencers don't really think about, which is the angle of your body when you're doing these motions.
Mhm.
If I throw a straight thrust forward, and I angle my back foot either to my left or to my right, that's going to change the actual angle of the sword with the arm extension as well. Even if you hold your arm out in kind of this wide two, like Aidman's doing here, having that back foot is going to subtly change everything because your shoulder is going to be in a different spot, your elbow is going to be in a different spot. Even if the sword doesn't move in space, it's going to
Mhm.
change how force is distributed just with the structure of the body here, right? So I think what Robert was expecting was Aedmund to stand in the same line, but Aedmund
Yep.
was already taking that step to the left, and it made Robert's dagger parry just a
Yep.
little too far over. It kind of it's this is something that I recommend to everyone who does single sword against someone who's doing primary and secondary is isolate a fight to whatever you want to isolate that fight to, right? So if I want to fight, if I have single sword and their sword and dagger, rotating to the dagger side could be useful if they're a little less experienced because
Mhm.
then you're knocking their sword out of the equation. But it looks like what A
Oh,
because then he won't be able to use his
can you
dagger.
repeat that? You cut off a little bit there.
Oh, did I? How far back did
It
I cut
says
off?
my internet connection is unstable.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Get better Wi-Fi, loser. All right.
I do have
Dang.
good Wi-Fi. Uh, not that far back, just a little bit back.
Yeah. So basically, isolating that fight to the sword side is going to give Aedmund a better chance because the dagger is used more defensively in Robert's style, meaning that you essentially turn what is a sword and dagger bout with a heavy use of the dagger into a sword on sword bout, um, which then can't rely on that dagger for defense. So this left shift with the feet is probably the reason that Aedmund actually was able to plant this because it
Mhm.
completely knocked this dagger out of the
Mhm.
equation.
For sure.
Yep. So I know I've had this talk with you as well, where it's just
Yes.
whenever you're fighting someone, you isolate to whatever you think you
Yep.
would have the advantage on, knock out
Yeah.
some of the weaknesses
I did that
earlier.
a lot when I was first learning and I was just doing single sword against people with secondaries.
Yep. It's definitely, I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's pretty good advice, and it's exactly what
Mhm.
Aidman did here to pull off this win against Robert. Bam. Oh man. And
It's
then
a
he
very
doesn't
nice shot.
ever
Yep.
come over. That was a very nice shot. All
Yeah.
right. We're gonna go back to normal speed here.
Now we'll get to the one that we watched the end of.
Oh man, now we'll get to the actual analysis and we'll do
Yeah,
real analysis on it and
yeah.
not be confused as to why it's not looking correct. This classic Spanish stance, gotta love it.
Mhm. The Spanish style with Aidman's outfit was a little entertaining too.
It is a little entertaining.
His Norse outfit doing some Spanish.
So this is fun. Robert was inside and with a step from Aidman is disengaging to the outside. And I just
Mhm.
want to slow this down because I remember this being kind of a cool little sequence. Might have been the one after it. Yes. So Robert does this thing that in the school we call programming, which is
Mm.
you try to elicit or like telegraph an action intentionally in order to get them to respond in a certain way. And I think Aidman did a really good job of not necessarily falling for that programming and
Mhm.
disrupting that programming through this sequence of movements. So um, what we see here is Robert is continually entering measure and threatening this outside line because he's trying to pull Edmund to either step to the right or do a second parry. But what then
Mhm.
Edmund is doing is Edmund is cheating measure, trying to get even closer in on Robert through these actions and is trying to step in on Robert through this forward footwork here and attempting to attack into Robert. Um,
Mhm.
Effectively just cheating in some measure and then trying to go for stronger blade contact.
Yeah.
And then here, this is, I mean, we can't really tell from what's going on here, but it looks to me like Aidman gets parried out wide and Robert just does a straight thrust in. Um, Obviously, learning from the
Yeah.
last bout that Robert just had with Aidman, where Aidman kind of isolated to that sword side. Robert made sure to actually stay in line with him at this point, and
Mhm.
then land that dagger parry this time. And then here's their cool little death
Oh, their
animation.
death was very cool. Oh,
They did
murder.
the classic anime, two swordsmen swinging at each other. Just imagine a spray of blood out of Aedmund there.
Oh,
Would have
oh,
been
we should have brought
iconic.
fake blood. That would have been really funny.
Oh,
A
we should
mess
have
to
brought
clean
fake
up
blood.
for the finals. Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been fantastic, honestly.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. All right, and then we'll just keep going down the line.
All right. So this next one is you versus um and
Epidakis,
I
I think
used
is
their
how you say their
government
name.
name here because that's all I had. I don't think I
Okay.
got their actual
They told
name.
me their SCA name a whole lot. It's, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to say. I apologize.
It is what it is. But yeah,
Insert name here.
a friend
But yes,
joining
they're
us
from,
from Palantir.
yep.
And then we have obviously Revna over here fighting in the Black Tiger style, refused dagger parry. Oh, our friend from Palantir is doing a bunch of I-33 stuff from what I recognized. So more buckler forward, sword foot back, and then sword and buckler working in tandem. A couple of little feints. Oh, and a blow through of the buckler there.
Yep.
Um, so what was your plan going into this? What was your
Uh, I didn't have that much of a plan for this fight, because I noticed they were fighting kind of with a shorter sword and with a very pulled back style. So my plan was more of just to get them to move a little bit and then kind of just to throw a shot from out of their range.
Yep. And I think you executed this well. I mean, you throw a couple of little feints for the
Yep,
head.
because that one's just a feint.
Yep.
And then I think, is that the
That,
one I get?
now
Or
this
I
next
think I
one
get the
is.
next one, yeah. So I
Yeah.
kind
I
of just get
mean,
them moving and thinking about stuff, and then I throw a shot when they're kind of in motion and kind of have their guard a little bit down.
yeah. And I mean, at this point, not to be like, not to like poo-poo on a specific style, but it's really hard to use I-33 against not only your style, but a lot of more
Yeah.
Rapier styles as well. Just
And I
because
think,
I-33 is not as focused on range as some of
yeah.
the later styles are, which puts them at a disadvantage sometimes.
Mhm.
And here's bout number two. Bullying. Oh my God, look at this confident walk. Hold on. We don't talk about this enough, all right? This confident walk into measure is so intimidating if you can pull it off correctly. And the little shoulder swagger you've got going on too. Oof.
The shoulder swagger. You
Yep.
heard it here first, guys. That's the trick is shoulder swagger.
Shoulder swagger. It's ooh. You're gonna see me out here. Yeah, and you did the same thing round two.
Yeah.
You played range and you just moved around the buckler, which absolutely appropriate for what you want to
Yep.
do in these kinds of situations.
Yeah. And for someone who, oh my gosh, sorry, I keep coughing. I think you can do some ICER 33 stuff in Rapier, but you have to cover that range pretty fast,
Yeah.
especially against like a low guard fighter who's just going
Yep.
to try to snipe you from range. You don't have to get like completely all up in my face, but you want to either be out of my range or in your range for the most part.
Yeah, it's not to say that I-33 is by any means a bad style. In C&T, it's really good because
Hmm.
you're covering your hands appropriately and you're more able to leverage the cutting motions that you would be using.
Yeah.
It's just that against modern rapiers, they're going to be longer, they're going to be faster in the tip. Um, Most of the wards and parries in I-33 are cuts or somewhat static positions, so it gets really hard to effectively move against something that is
Hmm.
longer and faster than both your defense and your offense. Um, so it just kind of is easier for the rapier fighter to stay at distance and poke. So
Yep.
that's the big hurdle you've got to get over with I-33. Um, One of the ways that I usually get over it is I kind of invite those pokes. And then you realistically, if you're against someone with a longer sword, it is using both of your weapons to cover theirs and
Hmm.
then just kind of ride in on it.
Yep.
Um, Additionally, I also have Kevin here. I used their government name because I didn't have access to their SEA name, and I unfortunately did
Understandable.
not talk to them that day. I don't recall if I did anyway. So
I did. I am just really terrible with names. And we fought each other too, actually. It was some pretty good fights. I think they got Tribaldi though. That's the
Oh,
new that's the new term I'm using for when a marshal is in front of the camera.
they got
Uh,
Trabaldi.
they got
Oh man.
Tribaldi. No offense to
Oh.
Tribaldi. Thank you for marshaling Tribaldi. My camera wasn't like super well marked either. It's mostly my fights because I wasn't able to move my camera doing my fights at all. So,
Yeah.
but
That's
anyway.
awesome. So we have Kevin over here. We have Master Sven Aldnerson over here. Notable lefty MOD in our
Mhm.
kingdom. Um, yeah, Sven fights with a buckler. I think Kevin had a dagger. I never really got a
It is
good
a
look at
dagger,
this though.
yes.
Okay.
It's a dagger just with kind of like a rapier guard.
Yeah, those were, from my understanding, because when I started, we had transitioned to like independent daggers, daggers that were made
Yeah.
independently. A lot of earlier daggers tended to be just cut down schlaggers.
Hmm.
Um, so it looks like somewhat similar situation here. I can never tell if it was like a longer sword, like 30 inches, or if it was a like like an actual dagger. So okay, it
Yeah,
was
it's
a
just
dagger.
a dagger, yeah.
Okay. So we've got Daggerfoot forward here. That's really good to note. And actually, I don't hate it into this matchup
Hmm.
purely because Sven then has to go through, especially with this guarded dagger here. Sven has to get through the dagger in order to get to Kevin here. Um,
Yep.
oh, it looks like a flurry of steel off that. A lot of great exchanges. So normally I'm a huge proponent of not putting your dagger forward just because 9 times out of 10, you're just going to get that hand sniped. You're going to get that arm sniped, that leg sniped,
Hmm.
and you don't really have the range to follow up on. And anytime you try to follow up on, you're telegraphing. But in this situation, I think it's a little bit better, especially versus lefty Sven here. Um,
Yeah, I think against lefties sometimes it does work because it you can shove your dagger in front of their sword a little better.
yeah. And I think in this situation, especially with Sven having a buckler here, I think it makes a little bit
Yep.
more sense to have that dagger foot forward. One of the things I do want to note is actually this footwork that this guy's doing. So he doesn't do it once he's in range here, but he does a lot of back and forth footwork, which is kind of somewhat reminiscent of Spanish footwork.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, the last time that I saw that was when I was new, and we lovingly referred to it as tyranny style, although it looks like it's not doing it in this case.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so it looks like there was a lot of flurry of steel. Nothing is really good. We're going back too far. So this back and forth motion here is what I'm referring to. This like attempt to creep into measure by going back
Mhm.
and forth. Um, it's very reminiscent of the tyranny fencing system, which I only saw when I was new about 10-ish years ago. Olwen does it as well, I
Yeah.
believe.
Hmm.
So Sven presses here, he retreats, catching with that dagger. Sven is staying slippery and lucid. And so it looks like what happens here is this person, Kevin, places on Sven,
Hmm.
manages to place into here. This looks like upper arm. It's almost armpit, but it looks more like bottom of the bicep to me. As Sven is maybe tagging arm, might be a place.
Yeah, something like that. I can't tell if
There,
that's his tip or if it's just the blade on there.
yeah, so the blade is definitely on there. I just can't tell if this is
Yeah, I
hitting
can't tell the
forward.
angle of the tip.
Yeah, you can see
Yeah.
some bend in the sword here, so I'm more inclined to believe place in this point in time.
Yeah.
And then it looks like thrust down. You can see a tip here. We've kind of lost Kevin's blade, although I would assume it came off of Sven's underarm. Yeah, so it doesn't even really look like, let me see if I can slow this down even more. It doesn't even
Yeah.
really look like it would draw from what I saw here.
No, I think he kind of was maybe going for a thrust and kind of went by
Yeah, but
and
it looks
didn't
more like
quite
this
get the
sword
pull
just kind
back.
of
Yeah.
like slides off Sven.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So
Yeah,
okay,
it more just slides off of him than
would have
anything
been.
else. I
It
think that's
seems
how they called
somewhat
it too. Yeah.
questionable. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that would have been a draw. It looked like it was flat and it looked like it more
Mhm.
brushed off of Sven, kind of in an arc rather than being pulled back in a draw.
Yep.
Let's go back to normal speed and see how they call that one. Sven's acknowledging something happened there. Ah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Yep. So Sven took the draw, and it looks like he must have missed on Kevin then, because it didn't look like that arm was good, and I couldn't see anything in the lower part too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember how they actually called that one.
Oh, there we
That's
go. All
nice.
right. That was a classic Sven. Sven
Yeah.
being the tall giant that he is, just loves throwing those overhead and
Yep.
preem. Usually he can just go over whoever's in front of
Yeah.
him. So I'm
Which
gonna
is
throw this
actually
one.
similar to what you do against him, but you go under and get his blade over you.
Yes. I hope we got that on video actually, because Ernesto walked up to me and was so happy that someone killed Sven in Preem. Yep, there it
Yep.
is. There it is. Sven's got all this range, all this leverage. All he has to do is go into that Preem and just whip it forward.
Yep.
Um, no notes on Sven. That was good work.
That was a very nice shot.
Yeah. When fighting against that Preem, it becomes very difficult to do so. Here, let me see if I can actually
It's a
just.
hard shot to block, especially from Sven's angle.
Yes.
I would probably try to like void it forward, honestly. I think that's what I normally do against it, is
Yep.
duck forward and under it. Because if you try to go back, it's normally still gonna hit you.
Yeah, you have to think about the arc of this
Yep.
shot, right? So the arc of this shot is that it's going to come out and down, right? So if you think about it like shooting an arrow, it's got incredible range, but it can't like there's a certain area where it curves downward, right?
Hmm.
Because that tip, when you throw it out there, is going to want to naturally go towards gravity. You're fighting against gravity. So that sword is going to go in more of an arc when it throws that shot, right? And you can almost see this when Sven throws it, right? So this comes up and over, right?
Yep.
So Sven starts with it over and then curves his hand downward to throw
Mhm.
that preem. And then you can see this preem is curving downwards because of gravity on the blade and Sven's arm here, right? So in this situation, when you're facing this, I mean, this is a really strong position for Sven.
Mhm.
Sven's got his sword out, his arm and hand are protected. I can't tell if he has it here right now, but usually his buckler's in front of his armpit
Yeah.
here, which is his most I guess vulnerable place.
Mhm.
Um, so in these situations, there's one move here that works really well that no one thinks works really well, and that is going into Preem against Sven's
Mm.
Preem.
Mhm.
So if you go into Preem against Sven's Preem, you get your sword up there and into his blade,
Yep.
which is going to change this angle. Because Sven is so tall, this angle coming down is really hard to modify, right? Because Sven can just shoot over whatever you put in front of it. So going into Preem puts your guard above your head or roughly on level with the top of your head and is enough to throw his blade over your back instead of allowing that blade to curve into your head.
Mhm.
Additionally, um, if you sidestep offline, left or right, preferably to Sven's left,
Mhm.
and you're able to get some kind of secondary up into that preem, I
Yep.
mean, you basically have this whole thigh open and like his butt open
Mhm.
if you could shoot for it that deep. Although Sven is pretty quick with that buckler might be able to cover it here as well. Um, so it's hard. I mean, lefties and tall, they have that range. It's really difficult to fight against that preem shot.
Yep.
There are ways to do it. Um, and it's a go-to for Sven. Sven loves it. So yeah, and there he goes, tags him right in the chest, follows it up with a remise. Good
Mhm.
job, Sven. We love to see double taps. All right. We love to see double taps.
Yep. I always double tap and then I say sorry for the second one.
Yep. I'm a full proponent of double taps. There are many times in my career where I've beaten fencers who were better than me because they didn't think the first shot was good, and I've already hit them with the second while they're still doing the math in their head.
Yeah, if they're doing that thinking face, it's when you just give them a little tap, a
Yep.
gentle tap, but
I'm not saying blast him,
yeah, please do
definitely
not blast people.
definitely give them a little poke, right? Just so they're aware.
Yep. Little place on the mask always works.
Yep. All right, we're inspecting a mask. Good job. Good marshalling, Tribaldi. 10 out of 10. We love to see it. Final fight between these two. We've got 1-1 going on so far. All right. Couple of probing shots. Got a rush here. Sven,
It's
again, going into
yeah,
that
very
same shot.
similar to the last one.
Yeah, there's not much else here to talk about. We'll keep hitting the sleep timer.
Sleep timer.
We'll throw it in slow-mo just so that we can see it. But again, he dodges the dagger
Yep.
parry, throws that in preem, throws it again on the way back, and manages to hit our friend Kevin here. So good job, Kevin. Nice show. Sven's difficult defense. No shame.
All right. Do we have I think Baldwin and Nick next?
Baldwin and Nick. I can tell you how this one's gonna go.
Nick has a stick. Nick with his stick, and
Yep.
then Baldwin has the nice leather shoulders and the big metal helmet on.
Yep, this guy over here is Baldwin. He was the finalist in the Princess's Sleeve.
Mhm.
Baldwin, Baldwin and I go way back. He was the first guy I really met in the SCA, and still one of my best friends, I would say to this day. Baldwin and I trained together constantly up in Falcons Gate, which is where I learned about the SCA and started in the SCA. So Baldwin's been doing this about the same amount of time as I am, maybe a year or two longer. He might have 12 years to my 10. I'm not quite sure on timing there. But Baldwin is the tallest one in this room by far. And he's got a 45-inch sword here. So there's a lot to get through when you're
Mhm.
trying to hit Baldwin. And Nick here is also somewhat tall, but sword's not the same length. And
Yeah.
Nick is fighting with a stick here, whereas Baldwin's got a dagger. So automatically, Baldwin's got a couple of more defensive options that Nick
Yeah.
lacked. Well, offensive options, I
Yeah.
guess.
And Nick doesn't have a hook on his stick. It's just a stick.
It is just a plain flat stick. That is true.
He found it in the woods. Nick is also from Falcons Gate, so this is Falcons Gate on Falcons Gate Violent here.
We love to see it. We love to see Grandpa come out and beat up on the new kids every once in a while. But also should we note that this is Baldwin's first tournament back since becoming a dad.
Yeah,
So he's got that dad strength now, which
nothing but bad
let
string.
me tell you, that was scary when I saw that. Okay. All right, yeah. So without further ado, let's jump right into this fight here. Nick circling, doesn't want to get too close. And
Yeah, I got his
Baldwin,
arms tonight.
the arm there. Baldwin's main tactic that Baldwin really loves to do is a mid-tempi disengage,
Hmm.
uh, which for your modern folks would be or tempo contra tempo, which means throwing an action to elicit a response and then reacting to that response in that same tempo that you're doing it. So the idea here is that Baldwin's going to throw an outside or inside shot, disengage to the other side, and then disengage back to the original line. He has great success with this. He really loves that disengage shot, and it's something he was definitely throwing out in force plentiful times. So I have a feeling we'll see it in most of his fights. So he hit him in the arm this time, just because
Yep.
that's what was available and that's what was forward. Baldwin's very slippery. Baldwin thinks in second intentions a lot. Um, most of us do, I think, at this level.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there it was. So Baldwin, basically, I mean, this one, I don't even know how much slowing this down is really going to benefit our overall
Yeah,
analysis here.
can do
I've
point
seen this
five.
do point 0.5. Oh, seven, not 7.5. Okay, hold on. All right. Oh, and we lost full screen. So Baldwin grabbed this angle and just stayed inside this
Yep.
angle. Once he disengaged around into that correct side, he just stayed in that pocket and then pushed through it. knowing that Nick was going to have trouble addressing his blade because of the disengage actions that he had taken to get to that point, kind of throwing Nick offline with his parry. So classic Baldwin, bait that outside parry, go back to the inside, go back to the outside, then go back to the inside and keep it
And I
moving.
will point out here, just kind of random, but Nick is holding his stick like in the middle, which I generally would not suggest because it's a little more difficult to move the stick that way.
That is true. Um, yeah, generically, you want to hold any long parrying device you have at the end of it just to make use of that range. There can be a case for why you would have your stick held kind of that far in, but in
Yeah,
this case, I'm not sure how much the benefit there is.
there certainly are some reasons, but in my opinion, the kind of benefit of the stick is that it is longer, so you kind of want to use that range if you have it.
Yeah, exactly. And to be completely honest with you, the part that's under your hand is just dead stick, and all it's going to do is get in the way of your arm at that point. Um, so yeah, generically, I would agree with you. And then exactly like we called it this time, Baldwin didn't even bother hitting the stick arm this time. Baldwin just went
Yep.
over, faked that low shot, and then eventually shot over where Nick's
Hmm.
sword went. So good job, Baldwin. Classic Baldwin work. We love to see it. So that's the one we just did. Now we have Alwyn versus Sibylla. I actually found this fight quite interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember this was a pretty good fight.
So this is where you're going to see that classic tyranny style that I was talking about earlier really be played out. You'll notice that Alwyn goes kind of around Sevilla's circle as defined by their back feet measure.
Hmm.
Um, it has an almost Spanish DNA to it, but it's not quite Spanish. It's more so using some of the Spanish circle stuff to just edge a little bit closer to set up for the Italian style footwork to eventually seal the deal. So please watch Alwyn here as he shifts left and right, setting up for these little feints, trying to slowly creep in on Sibylla here.
Hmm.
Sibylla, this first bout, does a really good job of maintaining space. Reaching out with the dagger here is a little risky, but she does a really good job of keeping her weapons out and not letting Alwyn take that space. Oh, and there we go.
Nice.
This is the one I was talking about a little bit earlier with you, Quinn, where Sevilla was genuinely concerned that she had
Yeah,
backed
it
Owen.
was like a very angled shot to the head too, so I
It
could see
was.
how that could
Let's
cause concern.
let's put this back down into slow-mo here. Um, Maybe not this far back. Yeah, here we go. So Sevilla's arm is straight out here. She does have a ring on this dagger.
Hmm.
The idea is to try and take advantage of Alwyn's sword when Alwyn comes in. So she parries him down. Alwyn takes a step back. She arrests her momentum, and there it is.
Nice. Yeah.
So she was able to maintain control over Alwyn's sword and then throw that straight shot, avoiding
Yep.
his dagger. Because she had that control with her dagger, she was able to purely just fence against Alwyn's dagger, which
Hmm.
is another piece of advice. If you're going to do infighting, it's more important to maintain control over your opponent's primary weapon and
Hmm.
try to free up your primary weapon than it is to just go in daggers slinging. Although dagger slinging does tend to be how that usually ends up. Yeah, otherwise, great work from Sibylla here. She maintained control of this weapon and then leveraged that to fence Olwen's smaller, shorter weapon with her longer weapon and was able to take full advantage of it.
I think Marguerite was concerned about the headshot too. If we
Yeah.
go back a couple
Um,
seconds.
Marguerite here is our resident doctor. Um, so Marguerite over here in the background immediately rushed over. So we can see Marguerite get up.
Spring into
He's
action.
immediately walking over, stops. Ah, all right. If we had sound on, you would hear me yell out from the sidelines, "We love you, Margalit." Because Margalit is usually our first responder,
Yep.
unfortunately. Um, but yeah,
She was ready to go there.
glad she didn't have to do
Yeah.
any work into this bout. Good acting from Alwyn. Great acting.
Who
I
would
was
have acted
legitimately
from all?
concerned she'd get concussed too. Yeah. Oh man, I remember being so scared that he got concussed.
Yeah.
Being like, oh God. All right. And now Alwyn here is switching to his wonky foot, that
He also
dagger
has
foot
a
forward.
like a rondelle dagger, so
Yeah.
whenever I fence him, I do always poke at that dagger hand, especially when he has that dagger foot forward.
hmm And there
That
was
was nice.
Alwyn's classic. All right.
Hmm.
So Alwyn does this thing where and this is also indicative of the tyranny style, although I couldn't necessarily tell you. I mean, I could sit down and I could make best guesses as to if it's intentional or what's going on. But from my understanding, a lot of the tyranny style is also changing which foot is forward as you're moving left and right.
Hmm.
And part of that is also to cheat measure. So the idea essentially is to move your feet so often that your opponent doesn't really know if your feet and shoulders are in alignment. And I think that's kind of what happened here. So if we slow this down and we watch this back, we might see that come to play. So Alwyn takes a couple of very traditional steps forward, throws this, moves his shoulders completely back
Oh,
while
it's
keeping
nice.
his foot forward.
Hmm.
So earlier in this bout, what Alwyn had done was he went into wonky foot and he would be switching his feet with his shoulders, right? So his shoulders would generically be in alignment with his feet. So if his left foot was forward, his dagger foot would be forward. If his right foot was forward, his sword would be forward. And Alwyn does this here, right? And
Mm.
he shifts back to having sword foot forward with his dagger foot back. And then he goes in to address Sibylla here, throws a couple of feints, if I remember correctly, at least one. There it is. There's the feint.
Yep.
And now Sibylla sees this shoulder rolling back.
Yep.
So my understanding is Sibylla is probably thinking that this sword foot is going back,
Yeah.
right? Because that is something that Alwyn does quite frequently. However, what Alwyn's really doing is he's just pivoting his upper body to get his dagger more in line. And then once he parries down here, oh yeah, so this is exactly what he did. This is actually, so we're watching the lead up right now. So he did move his sword back here.
Hmm.
This is where Sibylla realizes that what he's doing is he's shifting his whole right foot back to parry with that left hand dagger, right? So now that she knows that she's going to chase next time and get a little bit closer, right? That would be the logic that I'm assuming here. So Sibylla sees it. She decides she's going to chase, but Alwyn hasn't moved his feet.
Yeah.
So he rolls that whole shoulder back, but he actually hasn't moved his feet here. And he
Mm.
catches the dagger parry.
Yeah.
And because Sibylla was baited into chasing him, Alwyn is actually much closer than she assumes. And bam,
Yep.
he's able to tag her as she comes in, and then he completes his motion by rotating his back foot out or his
Hmm.
sword foot back out to his back foot. Um, so that is something that Alwyn does quite frequently. There's a lot of misalignment of the shoulders and the feet, which is great for misdirection. And it looks like he caught Sibylla by surprise this time.
Yeah.
And Alwyn plays with this range using this method quite frequently.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, good baits from Alwyn. Good job. Uh, yeah, there's not much more to say about it, to be honest with you. It was a well done, well executed plan. All right, moving into our final bout here. If I remember right, this one took a little longer.
I think
Um,
so.
I can't remember. This has been a whole week ago at this point, so
Yeah. Ages ago, basically.
it exists in the before time. Oh, little conversation. All right, didn't look like anything on our end
Yeah.
either. Can see this creeping footwork going
Yep.
back and forth, using the arms to kind of distract, coming forward and going back, not as far as you came forward, right? Misaligning the shoulders and the feet again, aligning here again.
Mhm. Oh,
Yep.
nice. Yeah,
And what
pretty
this was,
similar to the last one, I think, right?
a little bit.
A little
It was
different. I
just
think Siberia was pushing a little harder, but
yeah, I think really what happened here is Sibilia was trying to go deep, and
yeah. I think
Alwyn was just able to
Siberia was
smash
trying to
that.
do a similar thing though, where she tried to parry with her dagger, and then Owen got his sword out and stabbed her.
Yep. This was Alwyn fully being able to catch with that rondelle and moving his
Yep.
feet back and everything. And then at that situation, he's on the outside line of her sword. All he has to do is extend his arm and tag her as she's in. So similar situation to what had previously happened before, but
Yep.
overall, overall still within Alwyn's plan.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So this, oh God. All right,
I remember this one.
this one is gonna be Brandon and I. A little bit of context. Brandon and I are from
Murdoch.
the same school. Oh, yep, Murdoch. Sorry, using the government name.
Master Murdoch.
Master Murdoch McShamus. Murdoch is just like Baldwin, one of my best friends. I've known him for forever in the SCA. This bout starts with some octane. Like we both are immediately uh this
Ready
is
to go.
this is my fiance. I forgot the bout was just before this one in the video. Um all right, excellent. So Brandon also fences buckler. I fence buckler. I've won 3 out of my 4 sleeves with buckler, so you could kind of say I know what I'm doing with it at this point. Brandon actually taught me, I would say, about half of my buckler game, with my other half coming from Robert's wife, Leona. Um, so all that to say, Brandon and I, when we fence, it gets a little ugly, especially when it's buckler on buckler. Um, we've done all sorts of stuff, right? So Brandon and I, whenever we fence, it tends to be quite fast and it tends to be quite brutal, especially when bucklers are involved. So I apologize in advance for what you're about to see, I guess. So I come raring out the gate. I'm ready. I'm gonna get this guy. He drove up with me, all right? I've had to sit in a car with him for like 4 hours. I'm just ready. And
Oh, nice.
so this shot, I just want to point this shot out because this shot is something that a guy called uh, Gage does. And it's something that, so Brandon has trained with Gage fairly extensively, especially when he was still living in Georgia. I've visited Gage a couple of times on the coast. The Gage is a very quick fencer and does a lot of feints. And it's just hard to find videos of him, but he's really fast, right? So one of the things that Gage does is this toe shot to bait. And I know this about Brandon going in, that if there's a toe shot, I can probably get Brandon to react to it in some way.
Mhm.
So my whole plan going into this last bout here is to shoot down at a leg and then roll up over the buckler.
Mhm.
And so you can see me, I'm hopping around, I'm
Oh,
high energy. I lower myself, I pick myself back up, I shoot low, and then I just
mhm.
continue on with a
Yep.
thrust to the face. Brandon lays over here off to the left side. You can see me kind of point to it. I start to ask him if it was good. Um, it wasn't good. I talked about it a little bit later with him. But you can see that all I do here is I try to provide Brandon this illusion of safety by pretending to shoot low. I'm not even necessarily shooting. I just kind of lower my sword and then I immediately pick it back up to shoot over this buckler. And I managed to tag Brandon in the face here, and his just goes right over my left side or my right side. Sorry, I got my directions confused. Had to make the L's with my fingers. Um, but just goes to show you the value of a good feint,
Mhm.
how good a feint really can be. Here I am asking about it. He says no. So we go right back to it. Now I'm doing this thing where I'm trying to offside to to Brandon's buckler side, right?
Mhm.
So I'm doing that exact thing that I talked about earlier, and you can see it in the footwork that I employ.
Mhm.
Maybe not this far back. Oh yeah, it was this far back. So what I'm doing, right, is I'm coming in on Brandon and I'm taking these steps off to the left because I'm trying to attack his buckler side because
Gotcha.
that is where his sword isn't.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not gonna die.
I don't want to be fighting Brandon's sword in
Yeah.
this case because I can throw my buckler into his sword and then I can attack this back leg here, or I can try to get into
Yeah.
this gut here. And actually that exchange was kind of cool. So my buckler comes out, Brandon pulls back,
Mhm.
um, but we don't close, so Brandon can't do anything. So his sword goes up and over my right. You know what? I'm gonna slow this whole sequence down because I can do that. I am, in
You sure
fact,
can.
our video god. All right.
As
So
long as
I'm
you don't
taking
put the sleep timer
forward.
on it.
As long as I don't put the sleep. I might. I'll do it. I guarantee you.
Don't do it.
I throw, goes over Brandon's shoulder. Brandon starts to throw, but then pulls it back because he thinks it's a trap. It wasn't. He probably could have killed me with that.
Yep.
Um, we realign here. I come in on
Yeah.
Brandon, and you can see Brandon's sword is up and over my left
Whew.
side. I've used my buckler to push it to my outside,
Yep.
and it's on my bell right now. My tip is somewhere. I don't even
I
know if
think
my
it's
sword's up
all up in his
here.
doublet over there.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
think
think
I
it's
hit
quite on
anything.
him. It looks like it's fluttering his doublet.
It's hitting his dags, maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
Little
oh
dag
no, I'm,
shot.
I'm off to the right. I was way off to the right even.
Yep.
So Brandon pulls this sword back. I'm using my buckler to cover. I'm firmly locked out on Brandon's
Yeah,
side.
he's got buckler all up in your business.
I'm trying to get around his buckler. I've got him on the outside of my
Yep.
buckler. I'm tabled under. I'm trying to go for this inner thigh shot here. Brandon is using his buckler arm, which is something that we don't talk about enough with buckler, but using his buckler arm to actually keep me off of target
Mhm.
here. So I get caught up
Yeah,
in his
he uses
pants.
his arm and pushes it off him.
I almost throw a shot on the way out, but I know Brandon's just gonna
Mhm.
he's just gonna run me down with that. We reset briefly. I'm back into my stance now. I'm hopping, I'm bouncing, I'm hovering. I'm looking for an opportunity at this point, and I see it. And I shoot for the head. Brandon misses over my shoulder here, and I manage to tag him in the gut on the way out.
Nice.
Now, Brandon and I had talked. We said if we do the finals, we've got to do the stereotypical, like, I will avenge you, brother. It's over now. So this is our death. I'll speed this up to normal.
Slowed down death. Oh, glorious
Is
death.
Brandon telling me I must go on for the good of the kingdom? Me losing it. All right. We cut out the yell. We cut out the savage yell at the end. And that was
Um,
round one.
yeah, round two. Should we roll back up the list? We can start with do you want to start with Murdoch versus Robert or Edmund versus
We'll
Orange
do
Shirt
we'll
Fencer?
do Edmund versus Orange Shirt
Okay.
Fencer. Um,
Let me see who I Oh, I know this person. I do not remember their name. They're from Nordskogen. They're a newer fencer, I believe, but they do equestrian.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't recognize this person, so I used the most prominent color of their shirt to describe them.
Yeah, I met them at Northshield Rapier Academy. They're very nice.
Okay, excellent.
Yep.
Good to hear. I'll have to find them later and introduce myself.
Yeah, you should.
So we can see two very upright styles here. One of the traps that I think is very interesting with Spanish is that a lot of people like subconsciously are like, oh, they're upright and using a lot of blade contact. I should be upright and use a lot of blade contact,
Yeah.
which is the exact opposite of what you should do against someone who knows Spanish, because they're just going to beat you with experience.
Yeah, and that
Uh,
kind of seems like what happens in this fight.
yeah, it looks like Edmund really just like we're upright, we're blade contact. Edmund is also upright and blade contact. He's
Yep.
slowly pushing them into a corner, and then he gets in, controls the sword with his offhand, and thrusts
Mhm.
into the person in the orange shirt here. So it looks like Edmund just gets close enough to put his offhand onto it and is able to put his offhand onto it and thrust in.
Yep, for
Very
sure.
classic, very Spanish coded. We love to see it. Our brothers from Madrid. Going with this high angle here. So Edmund noticed last time that this person was doing a lot of blade contact. So Edmund is trying to take advantage of that by having a higher angle, which is going to eventually lead to better constraint as it
Yep.
puts him in a superior position.
Yeah, I think the Spanish call it like an atajo. I think that's the right
I'm
term.
I'm not
I
sure. So all of my
haven't
Spanish
read a lot of
notes,
Spanish stuff, but I think
so
in general they want to be on top of their opponent's blade, controlling it.
yes, I'm not sure if that's called an atajo. I am not read up in Spanish.
Something is called an atajo.
Yeah. Um,
That's the one word I remember from my brief looking into Spanish fencing.
yeah, I'm actually in the process of trying to find a translated Spanish manual so I
Mhm.
can understand Spanish better than my very basic understanding of Spanish.
Yeah.
So
I like how Spanish fencing looks. I think it looks very pretty.
it looks very slick, right? It's kind of relaxed, hand in the
Yeah.
pocket. Yeah. Taking our time here, doing a lot of circling. Edmund is dropping from the superior position to try and attack a couple of hands.
Mhm.
Oh, and
Yeah, that one he
eventually
got
ends up
stabbed on. Yeah.
losing to the lunge. Here we go.
Yep.
This is what every Spaniard has to worry about is the Italian lunge, right? It's a big part of the Italian game, and the Spanish just don't really have a large equivalent, from my understanding, a way to gain a lot of range from nowhere. So what happens here seems to be very clear to me. Edmund kind of does a little fake to the head. Our fencer here in the burnt orange? That's just normal orange.
It's just orange, yeah.
Our fencer here in the orange does a little lean back, gets to the outside, and then
Yeah,
thrusts
nice.
through and into Edmund's side here.
Yep.
So very nicely done by our fencer in orange, putting Edmund to the outside and then thrusting into the armpit, which would be one of the more exposed vital parts on a Spaniard here. So good work. And we're going into round three.
Yep. And this tournament was best 2 out of 3 double elimination was the format of the tournament.
Yep.
And
The
it was
ranking was though.
random draw, yep. So
Yep.
not like a bracket or anything, just you get pulled when you once you lose to 2 people, you're out.
Yep. I remember watching this a little bit earlier in the week when I was putting this list together. Hey, yep. So yep, exactly. So this is the one. I think that this is a really pretty sequence, and this is something that you usually only see in Spanish. Um, what the Spanish do, because they don't really have an analog for a lunge, a lot of their aggressive actions are taking control of the blade and then walking very aggressively in on a fencer. And specifically, what that ends up looking like is I've always likened it to can opening, right? Like you have their sword and you're just kind of muscling through their guard, muscling through into the other person. And it looks very slick when it happens. And I thought what Edmund did here looked very slick. So I just wanted to slow this down and give everyone an appreciative little look-see.
Oh yeah, there we go. Nice.
Yeah. So he goes to the outside, he
Okay, yep.
binds downward, comes in, brings up this hand on his left hand here to cover any potential rollover, and then is just able to walk it into this
Yeah.
fence flank. And then afterwards, after they get free, he lightly thrusts them in the neck, ending this orange fencer here. Very well done by Edmund.
Oh,
Looked
excellent
very
death
good.
too. Very dramatic
Excellent
death.
death. We
Oh,
love,
stumbling. Oh,
we love,
oh.
we love those deaths.
The
We
deaths
love
were
those
very
deaths in our
entertaining.
house. They were very good. Oh wait, this might actually be what like this might actually be the clip after. I'm pretty sure.
think it think
It
it is.
was. It was
Yay.
100%. So
There we
the Edmund
go.
clip was right here, and
Yeah.
the other clip. So we could just watch this death all the way through then. Oh, there we go.
All right.
Um,
And that is Owen, who is from Falcon's Gate. They're one of the fencers that I have taught. Um I think it's their second year fencing now. They're a sophomore at Stevens Point. And then against our friend from Palantir again here.
yep. Yeah, I didn't know Owen, so I called him Black Robe Fencer.
Yep, he is wearing a priest robe.
I've met Owen a couple of times. I've never seen this armor before, so I had no idea who I was
Yeah,
looking
it's
at.
not what he normally wears. It is his own stuff though, which is good for him.
There you go. And then we're back with I don't know how to say their name. Our
Nice.
I-33 friend from
Mhm.
Callantyr here. So let's see how this one goes.
And Owen did pretty good this day, actually. Owen made it pretty far.
Oh, good to hear.
Yeah,
We love it when our new fencers make progress.
I think he lost to Brigida, but it was a very good fight. I think he got a bout off of her, so
Oh, that's a hard fight too.
yeah.
She is lefty and just very long. She's
Yep.
got a lot of range. All right. So kind of hard to tell from the angle. Um, it looks like Owen is doing a good job keeping distance. It looks like this person kind of goes for a low line shot and Owen just
Yep.
rises above and oh, a thrust to the leg
I think
maybe?
yeah, I think the leg, yeah. I
Okay.
think he kind of thrust down into the leg. It looks like he kind of went into sort of just like a high two and thrust down.
Okay. And then it looks
Oh,
like picking at that buckler side, trying to get
yep.
the buckler to go up so we can go under, eventually grabs the buckler arm. And then from here, it's just a range game. I mean, with the shorter sword and Owen's longer sword, it's going
Yeah.
to be difficult.
And then
Yep.
I think he got the other arm. Nice.
Owen ends up getting the other arm and then executing our
Oh,
Calipari friend. Wow.
that's brutal. I do that
Absolutely
at
brutal.
practice a lot when we take both arms when they don't yield. So
Yeah, that's always fun. I'm glad to see that you guys are still doing that. We used to do that all the time when I
yeah,
was
I
at
think
the
Baldwin or Justinian showed me that one. So we we
Excellent.
we still do that a whole lot,
Fight's not over till someone's dead, right?
right?
All right, looks like another tag to the buckler arm with some
And
evasive forward.
Owen goes for a lot of arm shots. A lot of the people that I teach throw a lot of arm shots because I throw a lot of arm shots.
Oh, actually, I was completely wrong. I thought they hit buckler arm, but it looked like sword arm. I wanna see that.
Yeah, it might have been sword. I think that one was a sword arm. They have a very open guard on that sword.
Yeah, yeah, but it's a little refused, right? The
Yeah.
sword's back. Oh, I
Oh yeah,
see.
nice. That's a
Yep,
good snipe there.
that was a really good snipe there. I wanna give Owen some props on that. Hold on. That was a very nice little flick shot.
Yep.
We love our little flick shots, all right? We love a little doink in the school, okay? You know what I'm saying? Bam, right
Oh,
in the
nice.
fist.
Beautiful.
Nothing better than those tasty, tasty arms.
Yeah, and for a Callantyr Fencer, I like that they're trying to close the range, but they're kind of separating their sword and buckler a lot, which I think when you're closing, especially with the open guard, using them together might be a little more helpful.
Yeah, trying to keep, especially for I-33, which is using an arming sword with a very open guard,
Yeah.
being able to just use both of them in compliance with each other, in conjunction with each other, is going to be success there. And
Yep.
yeah, it looks like once Owen takes that buckler out of the equation, he's able to just play the range game and win
Yep.
that out. Um, but yeah, with I-33 specifically, it helps way more just to be able to use that buckler in conjunction and kind of make up for the weaknesses of the open
Mhm.
guard. It looks like we don't have anything for Kevin here.
Yeah,
So,
I think I was filming our fights, but I'm pretty sure they got Tribaldi'd, so they didn't make it to the video.
oh, that is absolutely tragic.
Yeah, because there
Um,
were some pretty good fights. They're very aggressive, and I am sometimes aggressive, so it was an interesting matchup.
okay, great. Um, just trying to put my thoughts together because I want to be able to provide some good feedback for Kevin here as well.
Yeah, because you
Um,
were watching our fights when
I
they
was.
happened, I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah. So Kevin has a very noticeable tendency to try and a really hard bind and then
yep.
come in. The only problem is with a really hard bind, that tends to be a larger motion that you have to commit a lot to. So my recommendation is if you're going to commit to that very hard bind, which you then use to gain measure or tempo on your opponent, is to also play more with your measure and tempo.
Mhm.
Um, So, for example, you don't want to be in a position where someone is forcing you to do your very hard bind. You want to be in a position where you're forcing an opponent to react into your very hard bind. We should trademark that term, very hard bind, TM. Um, so the idea there would be to feint a little bit more, do a little bit more blade work and a little bit more footwork in order to set yourself into a position where you're able to execute that bind. So I know it's very underwhelming advice to receive, do more footwork, do more blade work. At the end of the day, if you feint a little bit more, and you play with the blade mechanics to really kind of force your opponent into your area, your very hard bind where you feel most comfortable with that very hard bind, it'll pay dividends in the long run. Um, so yeah, all right, excellent. Uh, thus begins kind of our Baldwin show
The
here.
Baldwin
We've
era.
got three more bouts that aren't Baldwin after Baldwin's
Yep.
bout with Tomas here. So we'll enjoy
That's
this
what
one with
happens when you
Tomas.
make it when you make it deep in the tournament. You get a lot of video.
That is true. Get a lot of video.
Yep.
So this one is right out the gate. Tomas is left-handed. Fences, similarly to you, also worked with Black Tigers back in the day,
Yep.
but
His sword is
um,
really high right now in this.
Tomas's sword is really high, and I think it's
Yeah.
because we caught it. The way that this video is cut, I think
I think I cut
just,
it a little weird, yeah.
yeah.
I
To be
tried to cut
fair,
out all the fluff except the deaths because the deaths are entertaining.
yeah. So Tomas is mid-action here, shooting for Baldwin's hand. Baldwin's got his dagger down a little bit.
Mhm.
I can't see his sword, actually. Is it over? It might be.
Yeah, somewhere on the right over there.
Yeah, somewhere on the right. So yeah, this should be a good bout. We'll see how it goes. Tomas was keeping his sword a little bit up versus Baldwin here, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it
Mainly
is.
because
It's a
Baldwin
lot
has so
higher
much
than his
range.
normal guard there. Not a
Baldwin's got
lot,
the
but a
range
little.
of God. There we go. Now Tomas is going down, going for that foot
Yep.
shot. Looks like
Oh, I think it's just a little short.
nothing back and forth. Looks like a couple of probes at the chest that didn't get there.
And these
Both
two
of
are
these
both,
guys are tall.
yeah, they're both pretty tall, but Baldwin I think fights with a 45 and Tomas has, I think has a 42.
I think it's a little shorter.
Yeah,
Think you're right about that. I'm just not sure if it's a 42.
it
It might
might not
be.
be a 42, I don't know.
Yeah,
43
I'm not
maybe.
quite sure.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Oh, making Tomas get on his knees. He just got that hip replaced, Baldwin. Come
Good.
on.
Hey, he's moving fast out there. He's got that new
He
hip energy.
got that new hip. So
Ah,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, that's kind of
Yep.
that shifting to Prima against Prima.
Yep. Exactly. So that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yep.
Look at you. Look at you. You're
Look at
pre
me go.
Oh my God. It's happening. But yeah, Tomas throws this preem shot. Baldwin goes into preem to counter that because both of them are long. Baldwin knows he's got the range. So if Baldwin can slip the preem shot and then go into a preem, which he manages to do and tag Tomas in the chest here. Good work, boys. Love to see it. All right. I think this is another one that also goes to three.
Think so. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not watching this bout live, so my memory's a bit murky on it.
I see Crispin back there in his lovely neon orange.
But we love our Hunter Orange boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
And they
it's the same
did.
shot. Yeah, I think it just went to two.
Yep. It did just go to two. He shoves Baldwin off, crawls away.
Yeah, that was that same kind of cream shot though.
Yep, it was the exact same
Yep.
shot. It's just at this point, Tomas doesn't have that dagger, so
Yeah.
it's even easier for Baldwin to throw that preem through Tomas's preem.
Very
Good
nice.
work. Very fast.
All right,
All right,
and then we have
Owen.
Alwyn and Hans.
Owen and Hans. Hans is quick.
Hans is quick. He was using the kimono sleeve in this, which was kind of a fun thing about this tournament. If you use a kimono sleeve, you could basically regenerate your arm once if you got shot in the arm.
Yep. I think I saw two whole people use the kimono sleeve, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And Hans was one of them. And
Hans was one of them.
Hans was making dividends off that kimono
Yes.
sleeve. He got that free arm. Ooh, it was nice.
And then Alwyn, I think, kind of matched him, but he just has a club.
Yep. Owen's just got a cloak in his hand here. Owen's cloak is up here, ready to bat down on Hans's sword if it gets close. There you can see the cloak being to great effect. Alwyn is, and I will revive an old dead meme from 2016. Alwyn is,
Decade ago.
Alwyn is the best cloak fighter in North Shield, bar none. All right. Mainly because he's one of the only cloak fighters in North Shield, but
Yeah, Nick's coming for that title. Nick has his new cloak now.
I love to see cloak come out. I do. It's
Yep.
always very fancy. I've never been able to make it work for me. I
I
just
fought some last night against Nick. It mostly sat on my shoulder.
Yep.
Yep.
It's yeah. I can never get it to work for me, but I'm glad to see other people out there having fun with it,
I
right?
think it looks really cool.
It does. It looks super sick.
Whenever someone comes in and wants to learn rapier, they're like, I want to learn rapier and cloak. And I'm like, sure you do. And then they try it once and they hate it,
Yep.
is generally how it goes.
This was this was quite the exchange.
That was a brawly cloak exchange right there.
One of the things I want to note too, Revna, look what we've got here. Look what
Right?
we've
Yeah, me
got
and Hans
here.
actually do have a pretty similar stance.
Wow, maybe he's
Yep.
working with some of the tigers. I know there's more tigers out west of our kingdom.
His
Um,
dagger position is sometimes a little different than mine though. And I think he drifts his sword point up a little bit more than I do generally.
okay, so a little different. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
but
working. Maybe
very
he.
similar kind of refuse style dagger high.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
excellent. Good to see. All right. So Owen catches with Cloak here. This exchange is very interesting, mainly because whenever fighters infight, it's interesting. Owen arrests his momentum with his left leg and pushes himself back. This cloak is up and chambered again. Looks like Owen's going to cross with it. He does. Attempts to thrust. Hans misses this shot.
Get
Owen
close.
misses
Yep.
his shot coming in. Hans is getting ready. A bunch of little hops out of Hans here. Hans starts to come forward and is aggressing, keeping the sword well back, waiting for a moment to shoot. Owen tries to tag chest. Hans switches up his feet, is on the outside of Owen. Owen's on the outside. Owen catches Hans with
Aw!
sword. That was sick. That was super cool.
That was
Well
good.
done. That was that was awesome. So Hans throws. Owen catches that, is throwing. It's going
Ah!
through his head, and Owen bats it over. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Good job,
That's
Owen.
why you
That
fight
was
cloak right
slick.
there.
That is why you fight Cloak.
The
Oh man,
swagger.
hit him with that Cloak swagger.
Wah.
And oh, are they going to close? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Owen is getting ready. He can
He's
see
ready
it.
to
Hans
go.
wants to charge him down.
Oh yeah, there we go. Hans is
There's
like
the charge
a
in.
run.
So on the outside,
Oh,
ooh, it looks
nice
like he may
parry
have.
there. Yeah, that's
Looks
good.
like he may have caught something on this
Oh,
inside here. Owen looks like it doesn't get anything. Hans may have gotten a second draw. It looks like Owen, like it caught on Owen's chest as he was
yeah.
picking it out. It could have been
I
fabric
thought he
that was
parried
coming
that.
from.
I thought it caught a cloak. I can't really
Yeah,
tell though.
it's hard to tell with Cloak,
I was
honestly.
just watching that cloak move.
That Cloak move is cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still impressed. Oh, I'm not sure what the decision was on there.
I think they talked for a long time and I cut it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't really remember what happened either.
From what I saw, it looked like maybe Alwyn got tagged. And
Yeah.
maybe there was a draw on Hans on the outside here, but I think
I
Alwyn
think,
definitely got tagged.
yeah, they might have called it a double or something. I do not remember. We'll see by how many bouts they have left.
Oh yeah, true.
Do you want to switch it back to
Yeah.
um,
All right. We've got some nice probing out of Alwyn here, moving around. Hans is isolating him, trying to take away his footwork. Very good idea, Hans. The Tyranny boys, they
oh,
love
nice.
walking back and forth
Yep.
now. That little hop. Did you see the little hops?
The hop, yeah.
That was so
Oh,
cute. Wait, he was so excited. Hold on. Let's go 50%. So So Owen thrusts, bind in the face.
Nice.
Yee! Very well done. I'm sorry. The little hops sent me. I didn't notice
That was
that the first time.
incredible.
The excited little hops. I mean,
It
yeah,
was it was a nice shot. He kind of just rolled out to the right, got his sword free, stuck it in there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this was a very well done exchange by Alwyn. He bats at the sword.
Yep.
Hans comes back in. Alwyn bats, thrust, ties it
Oh
up, and then thrusts
yeah.
over.
A very nice bind with his cloak there to get Hans's sword.
Yep. One of the advantages of cloak is that cloak tangles up the sword, and well, we
Yep.
saw it work perfectly there. So
Yeah, and I don't know how much non-rigid Hans does. So
yeah.
he is mostly just kind of holding it like a dagger. I think trying to kind of just use it like a dagger.
Hmm. Ooh,
Oh, nice. Get that cloak out of here.
get it out of here. Fabrissimo. Oh,
Cloak no more.
yep. And Hans picks apart on that inside there. They have a brief discussion.
If we want to, we can watch this fight. Me and Sevilla. I think I just caught the second bout on this one though.
Okay. Well, let's give it a little gander here.
It's a little difficult to see. I
Yep.
might have caught both ones. They're just a little hard to see. Nah, that was the second bout.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's nothing else.
Yeah, I basically on that one I just got Sabula to kind of chase me, and then I did where I go to Prima and do kind of a stop thrust.
Yep. You're trying it
And
there.
you could see me do it a lot, but she didn't commit to that one, which was good. But then she committed to that one, and I
Yep.
shifted it up there.
It looks like you're doing the same thing. You're throwing that nice deep lunge with that covered parry on your inside. Um, you're backing up and like throwing a high two or a preem.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I it's kind of between it
yeah. I mean,
for the
you
most part.
throw.
Yeah.
You're throwing a high two preem. That's a very classic thing that you do.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, that's one of my two kind of things that I really want to do. I either want to just cross parry and thrust at you, or I want to get you chasing and then parry down with my dagger and bring my sword up.
yep. And you managed to get her into that pattern, and then
Yep.
you saw it through to the end. So
Hmm.
excellent, perfect. We'll love it when a plan comes together, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, and now here's
Murdoch,
Brandon
Robert.
versus Murdoch versus Robert. So this was sad because I rode up in a
This was
car.
sad.
I rode up in a car with Murdoch, and then I was Murdoch's round one, and Robert is probably
Yeah.
the closest MOD to Murdoch, and then he's round two. So
Tough draw for
unfortunately,
Murdoch today.
unfortunately, Murdoch had a really rough
Yeah.
first two bouts in this tournament. Um, just very difficult. And then,
I think
Robert, Murdoch, same school as us.
yep.
So
I think the Spaceballs helmet took all of Murdoch's swagger.
you think so?
I think so. I
Oh
think that's what
man.
happened.
Don't you can't not I sold him this helmet. You can't
I
knock that.
know.
Come on.
Maybe
Any customers got
he
this.
should like paint it or something.
Ooh, it's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, it can't be that hard to paint. It's just like black plastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what type of like I don't think it's Kai it might be Kydex. I'm not actually sure.
Maybe.
Um
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
I don't
think it
know.
would be cool if you painted it though. We always call it the Spaceballs helmet though, because it looks like the helmets from Spaceballs.
It really does.
Yeah.
I wonder what
Anyway,
he was thinking.
we can watch the fight.
Okay. So again, Robert has this classic refused guard, learned it from PJ. Brandon spent a lot of time, or Murdoch spent a lot of time learning from PJ as well. So these two guys know each other's fighting styles fairly well.
And for the crowd, can you tell everyone who PJ is?
PJ is Master Michael St. Christian. He is the progenitor of the Black Isle Academy of Defense, which is the school that Murdoch and Robert are a part of. He was the headmaster previously, but then PJ kind of retired from both working and the SCA. He is now on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean, living his best life. And he handed off headmaster responsibilities to Robert, who is our current headmaster of the school.
Yeah. So when Joseph references the school, that's generally the school that he's talking about.
Yes, the school I'll be talking about is the Black Isle Academy of Defense, which myself, Revna, in this photo, Tomas, Murdoch, and Robert are all a part of.
Yeah.
So there's many of us, almost a dozen, I think, maybe more. I'm not sure. I haven't counted recently.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, let's watch these two cats go at it.
Oh,
Oh,
brutal.
oh my gosh, you got me
A rough
monologuing here
day
before,
for
huh?
Murdoch.
I know, right? That was, oh God, that was brutal. All right, let's see what happened here. Though I have a sinking suspicion. So Robert's lining up this high shot here, the
Faint
feint
there.
to draw the to dagger to draw the buckler parry up, and then yep. So it's
Nice.
just
Yeah. Yep.
misdirection here.
Good
He
feint there.
feints high like he's going for his head, and then just
Yep.
drops it right into the hip pocket here.
That's a really good feint for against a buckler, feinting that headshot and then dropping it down.
Yep, very classic. I've seen it used against me, FPV all the time, first person view, getting
That's what you
absolutely
told me to do
destroyed.
against you.
Yep. If you can get the buckler to move, the buckler is slower than a sword. It's
Yep.
always going to be slower than a sword. So
The
maybe
the
being
benefit
able
of
to move
feinting
is good.
the headshot is they can block their vision too.
Yep. There's about a millisecond where they just can't see shit.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
good job, Murdoch. And this is exactly what I recommend people do against refused when you have a buckler. Um, you use that buckler, especially versus righty. It's a little bit harder against
Yeah,
left.
it's definitely easier against righty to do this,
Yep. But
just because it lines up nicer.
All Murdoch did here was place his buckler between Robert's sword. And then when Robert goes to drop it, he just keeps the buckler between by rotating it. And all Brandon is going to do here is hide behind his buckler, wait for Robert to throw something, and then just
Yep.
extend the buckler into Robert's shot. So Brandon starts his action, Murdoch, sorry, starts his action. Robert throws a counterpunch. Brandon makes sure to catch with his buckler and then just stays in the pocket, stabbing while he's got control of the blade. Ends up hitting Robert in the face. Robert does a stagger. And we're into round three. This one decides all the marbles.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Robert basically just truncates what he did the first time he killed
Yep.
Brandon. Instead of fainting high, all he
I think yeah, he just kind of shoots in the gap there, I think.
yeah,
That's
he makes like he's gonna faint high, but
yep.
all he really does
He
is
just throws
curve
that
the
shot
blade
in
down
there.
into a
Oh, I
shot.
think they do a dramatic death on this one too. I think they
They
do.
do a dramatic death. I
Oh,
just want to slow
incredible.
this one down just
Yeah,
to
it's a very nice shot.
it is a very good shot. I want to see this one in slow. So Robert keeps his sword up high here. Oh wait, this is the one.
This much,
Yep, there
yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
So
he kind of
Robert,
starts doing that feint and then doesn't actually do it and just drops it back into the lane.
yep, looks like he might go around the buckler as
Yeah.
well. So this is a good death. We like this death. Brandon's spasming on the ground. And look at this.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh,
Oh
the
gosh.
twitch.
Oh,
There's some aggressive twitches.
the aggressive death twitch. Oh my. All right.
All right, we have one more before we get into Baldwin City.
The Baldwin.
We'll go relatively fast through the Baldwin ones.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So it should be
It's
fairly
all
simple.
Baldwin fights.
It's all Baldwin. All right, this is Edmund versus Owen
I
here.
remember this being a pretty good fight.
I do too.
I
Remember
don't
it's taking a little while.
I don't remember who wins actually. Yeah, Owen does a lot of kind of circular footwork. I don't know that he necessarily knows what he's doing all the time with the circular footwork, but
It's okay. I don't know what I'm doing with circular footwork either,
Yeah.
so I can't really blame him.
He might have read or watched something. I don't teach a whole lot of circular footwork because I don't do a lot of it.
Hmm.
Because I do find that for a left-handed person, it works a little less well than it does for right-handed people.
Yeah. Well, especially when it's disparate, right? So if
Yep.
it's lefty on righty, it doesn't, I don't
Yeah,
know.
lefty
It feels
lefty,
like
it
the shell
works
would
the
be a little
same
better.
as righty on righty, but
Yeah,
the kind of typical
that's not
lefty righty
the common
matchup that
thing.
you'll see most of the time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be particularly effective.
Yeah.
It could also be the Spanish trap I talked about earlier, where
Oh,
like,
nice. Look at that. He got the arm. Nice
ooh, a
arm
little
shot again.
hand shot. Owen loves those shallow targets. We love those
Yes.
shallow targets. Aidman, come back in frame. All right, good.
He almost got that other arm too. Yeah, and
Almost.
that's what I really like against like high guard or Spanish fencers to throw a lot of arm shots because it's so far out there.
Yep. Well, and it's one of those deals where holding out that sword takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy. The best time to fight a Spaniard is like halfway through the tournament when he's a little tired,
Yeah.
because their arm is going to be sore. You just beat their sword until they decide that they don't want to hold it out that much anymore. Um,
Yeah, I think Owen got his left arm got though.
yeah, in that one exchange, Edmund thrust it out, and Owen like
Yep.
basically caught it with his hand.
And he got
And
the other arm.
oh,
Nice. Yep.
Owen shooting arms.
Shooting arms. There we go. Beautiful.
Edmund wanted death. He ran
He
into battle
craves
armed.
it.
Good idea on the shallow targets against the
Yep.
Spaniard. It's a little bit harder, mainly because, usually they have these big cup hilts and they can kind of hide their arms
Yeah,
behind
I
that.
don't think Adrian Swords is like a clamshell, but it does leave a little bit more of that hand exposed and like the big cup hilts, kind of like what Owen has on his sword.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more open than maybe you would want, but
Yeah,
for the
and
most part,
Edmund's
it's okay.
arm, he does the way he holds it, there is a kind of a large part of his like forearm exposed.
Yeah,
That was a very nice bout by Edmund.
that was a very nice bout.
Yeah, let's go back a couple seconds and
I
watch.
got distracted watching that bout. I was like mid-sentence and I stopped talking.
Yeah, there's a lot of footwork to talk over about other stuff, but then the action happens. So Owen tries to go for that arm again,
So
and
I
then
think it's really
Aidman's.
notable
This
here.
is yeah,
So I think it's really notable here that, oh, we're like in a weird, hold on.
there you go.
Yeah, so Owen lunges, right?
Yep.
And this is an uncovered lunge, right? Like against an Italian fencer, you would never do this lunge because
Yeah,
Edmund's response is to thrust and stab you in the head, and your sword is low and not addressing the blade, right? Like
yeah.
in
It
this
looks like he's
situation,
lunging at the arm too.
yes, Owen
Yeah.
is for sure trying to hit the hand in here or hit the arm. If I'm Edmund and I'm an Italian, I'm lunging into this because there's
Yep.
like a foot of room here, right? And you're primed for a lunge. You could lunge here easy. But because Edmund's doing Spanish, he doesn't really have that option. But I think it's really cool to see what Edmund does here, which is as soon as Owen is coming back from that lunge, Edmund takes a step forward. And
Yep.
before Owen can take another step, Edmund's already stepping in as well. And then he's binding the sword to the outside. He rushes in with the Gigante parry, and then eventually is just able to
Oh,
get close and
nice. Yep.
infight and do this nice draw across the stomach.
Swaggy.
Swag, huge swag,
Nothing
plus
but
100
swagger right
aura,
there.
plus 100 aura. I do think it's rather interesting that Edmund is using quote unquote Gigante's uncounterable parry. At least that's what it looks like might be attempting. That sequence right there is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
So Gigante has this thing in his book where he basically talks about how there's this uncounterable parry where what you do is you lunge forward, but you don't lunge off your back foot. You lunge off your front foot to bring your left hand where the blades cross, and then you can put your whole arm kind of in the way of their sword while your sword is still there. And then with that control, while you're on their outside, you can just thrust them or run them down or do whatever you want from that position. And it looks like Edmund does a similar thing to that. It might not be perfectly 100% executed, but you can see with this dive forward on that same line, manages to get control of the blade, manages to get on the infighting, lets control of the blade for this draw cut here. So very well done from Edmund. Looked very good. 10 out of 10.
Wow, you're incredible.
No notes. Great use of timing to throw that big parry motion. And the control you gained off it helped you win the fight. Good job.
All right, after this one, we're gonna speed run Baldwin's because I have to go ice skating
When are you going ice skating? Oh my God.
soon.
Is it?
When
Oh
when we're
my God,
done
it's
with
like
this. Yeah,
11:30. We've been doing this for 2 hours. Holy.
yeah, I've been doing this for almost 2 hours and we're long-winded.
We are long-winded.
We'll
I gotta
blast through Baldwin's. Maybe we'll
go.
just do Baldwin's against me and then against you.
Um, yeah, we could probably do that. That would probably work.
Just for brevity. If we want
Yeah.
to do more, we can do more later. But
The finals fight with Baldwin is probably my longest fights versus him,
yeah,
I think, if I remember right. We're kind of playing range here, going back and forth. Oh, does this get decided by a lunge? I feel like this gets decided by a lunge.
maybe. I don't remember.
I feel like Owen just lunges in here at some point. It is hard to tell what Owen's legs are doing with this rope. It's nice.
Oh, you're reviewing that. We're recording.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Oh, nice. I do want to slow that down. Probably just a 50 though.
Yeah.
Looks like it's more of like a footwork thing than anything. Okay. So, very good Spanish footwork here is what I believe I saw. And I want to verify that. So a wide step here. Yep. So
Nice.
that
Yep.
Spanish being able to transfer to left foot forward to change the angle of your blade as
Mhm.
you come in. And he's just able to get it around Owen here and collapse him to the ground.
Dead. Murdered. Slaughtered. All right, let's just quick watch me and Baldwin and then you and Baldwin.
All right, do we want to do Robert and Baldwin as well?
No, because I gotta go ice skating.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're speed running Baldwin's fights.
Good luck. Kai's gonna try to start my car because wasn't starting the other day.
Ah, I got you. Is this? Oh, right.
Yeah, it started, but
Because
yeah,
this
start
bout
to
starts so
it
quickly. Is
starts
this
so fast.
one?
I cut it a little. I should have gave it a little more lead time.
Because I know how this goes. We're starting with
Yeah,
0.21.
this one you can start just real slow.
Drop into stance, gather step. Oh, another gather. Oh, oh, little shuffs, little shuffs,
Yep, and
and huge lunge.
that
Whoosh.
that was a long lunge. I wasn't sure I was gonna make that one.
Yeah, I was when you pulled that out against him, I was like, well, that's crazy. I'm shocked you managed to cover that distance, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, well, that was kind of my plan was like, well, if I can just creep into his range enough, I was just trying to keep his sword out there more than anything on that. And then I was like,
Yeah, and then he completely missed his follow-up
yep,
here, where like he was just sailing past, and you managed to just tag him right in the shoulder pocket there
yep.
and get right in.
So
I
that
think
one went to plan. And then I got a little too bleh.
I think the interesting thing here to note is the footwork. So you're creeping in on the footwork
Yep.
fairly consistently, whereas Baldwin is not taking steps back as much as you're creeping in,
Yeah,
right?
and I think that's why I was able to get him because he didn't respond to my footwork very
Hmm.
much. Like he moved that back foot, but he's just kind of adjusting his stance. And he takes a little step back there. I kind of do the heel tap thing where you
Yeah.
take like a little step and then lunge. A lot of people do that.
Yep. And I think really what that boiled down to is you took that gathering step that Baldwin didn't. He didn't keep
Yep.
parity. He didn't back up the same distance as your gathering step. Um, and then you do the tiny little step that gives you like
Yep.
an extra inch, and that's all you need, right?
Yeah, because that one just hit him. I was very happy about that shot.
Yeah, that was a very well done shot.
And then I think I riled myself up a little too much between
If the
that
sound
and the
was
next one.
on, I don't know how loud my ooh was. It was fairly loud,
Yeah.
apparently.
And then this next one is real sloppy.
Yeah, this next one was hard. I think this is the one where you guys just run into each other, if I
Yeah.
remember
And
right.
I at least reset there.
Mhm.
Um, but then at some point I think I just go,
Oof.
no, that one's the one where I die. I think it's
Yeah,
the
that is.
next one is the one where
So all that was is you just missed your dagger parry. You were
yeah,
too
and
close
what
to Baldwin.
I didn't do my I should have stepped back and parried on that one. I got a little too aggressive, so when I get a bunch of energy, sometimes I accidentally just go straight forward into danger. Yep.
Yep. I think
So
the
I
big one
try to
here is you
parry forward
just
and I
dropped.
should have stepped back and parried and then gone in.
Yeah.
What
You
I'm
just dropped your
supposed to
sword.
do, but yeah.
That tempo where you dropped your sword, I think, is really what gave
Yep.
Baldwin the opening there. Um, duh.
Because
Just
I was doing okay resetting earlier in this bout, but then I got too,
yeah, like that was a fine reset. You
yeah, like
managed to get
that's
out of the
kind of
tempo
what I'm
there.
supposed to do.
Yep.
But then I didn't on this last one. I
Yeah.
was a little too committed to my action without having his blade.
Yep. And I think that's what it was. You put your sword on it.
Yep.
You did the bell, right? Where both of you are just kind of circling with your swords touching.
Yeah.
Uh, he slips off. You drop your sword fully, and then you throw that dagger parry over, but Baldwin's already coming up by the time that dagger gets over there.
And I was just too committed to my forward movement without having control of his blade.
Yep, I agree. Unfortunate, but
It's okay.
it happens. It happens. The deep squat,
The
so
deep squat.
intimidating.
Yeah.
So intimidating. It's like, look at what my knees can do, old man. Look at my knees.
And this one I think was the really sloppy one.
Yeah, I think this is the one where you guys end up boxing.
Yeah. And I really don't know what happens on it. We just redid it.
Yep. Your sword
The
is
two of
over your
us,
own arm.
the two of us has ended up in this exact situation before too, Joseph. Or we just are brawling because we always brawl against each other. I
We'll slow
think
it down.
Baldwin got the draw cut when I was coming in, and I just like did not feel it.
Yeah,
Because I
I
looked at it and
remember
I was like, yeah, I think he got that draw pretty good.
I remember watching that in person and just being like, Jesus Christ, I can't tell what the hell is going on. So he parries you wide out here. He tries something here. It doesn't look like you're on his
And at
outside.
this
He's
point,
on
I
your
should have
outside.
just reset, but
Yep.
instead I just go in.
You're trying to do the dagger. You guys are basically locked up by the time you get to that point.
And then I think what he got on me was like a draw coming in. Because I remember I
Yeah.
was looking at it at some point and I saw his blade on me. So
Yeah, I briefly, I think I saw that a little
it
bit.
was super messy though. So we just redid it. We were like, let's do that again.
Yeah, because all of this happens in half seconds, right? Like
Yeah.
this is probably a full second of that exchange. So he parries you off here, right?
Yeah.
That's your
And at this
um,
point, once I miss that shot, I should recover.
yep. But it's really hard for you to recover at this point because you're
Yeah.
still going forward. There's no weight on this leg. All your weight's on this leg. So even that, look, you slide forward and you've got to get your feet back under you in order to do anything. thankfully you managed to stop Baldwin from eviscerating you with this sword here, and you managed to get your
Yeah,
sword
like I
free.
do an okay job keeping him out there, but like once I get my feet under me, I decide to go in more,
Yeah.
which
If
I don't
if
think was my best idea ever.
in this position here, now that you've got your feet under you and you've managed to stay alive, I would highly recommend just leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you were like, I got this. You try a lunge here,
Yeah,
parries
I did not in fact
up.
have it.
Yeah. All right. We've dissected that little one
Yeah.
enough. We'll go to the next one here. I think Baldwin just donks you here, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, I did kind of the same thing where I tried to press when I shouldn't have pressed. That's one of the things that I need to work on. I don't do it in practice that much, but in tournaments I get caught in that kind of
Yep.
go forward,
Yeah.
no
And
stop situation.
with Baldwin here, he's just got the range on you. That's all it
Yeah.
really is. So you just weren't able to overcome the
Mhm.
actual press, the press portion of that.
Yeah.
We could do my quarters, or we could just do my finals.
Just the finals.
Yeah, because the spoiler alert, Baldwin beats me in the quarters, and I don't want to show that to everyone. So here I
Yeah,
am. Baldwin is
we'll do this fast because Kai wants me to go.
okay. Let's cut through.
Speed
Here we
run.
go. Oh, we're hugging. Actually, so Baldwin employed psychological warfare here. He whispered something into my ear. He was very, very nice. And it took me out of my head a little bit. I was like,
Kill
oh,
him
that was
with
a really nice
kindness.
thing to say. Oh man. You can see me psyching myself back up here. I'm like, God damn it. He was really nice. So I have to smack myself a little bit.
Buckler whacked.
Buckler whack. All right. I think I remember how this one goes. Yep, I leave. I'm like, I don't like this at all. Remember, Baldwin has already beaten me once. So in my mind,
Yep.
I'm like, from a down position, I have to figure out how I'm going to beat this guy who's already beaten me once this day. So obviously, the plans that I had weren't going to work. So I was thinking about new plans in my lead up to this. And I decided on a much more careful approach than I had been taking that entire day. So my fencing changes significantly.
Yeah, because you were mostly very aggressive,
hmm And
actively
this
kind of
I kind of
going in.
adopt more of a counterpunching posture. You so
That hop kills me.
that little hop. I want to
Go
explain the
back.
little hop because there's merit to the little hop. So that little hop, the reason I hop there is because I'm starting a lunge and I
Mm.
realize midway through that lunge that that lunge is going to get me killed. So you can see me.
You
I'm like,
stop it.
oh, so I'm
That
in
we
this
need to
position. I'm
freeze frame that and take a picture of it when
I'm
you're midair.
starting this lunge. Like, so you can see me. I step into here and I'm convinced here that I'm gonna lunge, right? Like I'm definitely gonna lunge. This leg is chambered. This leg has all the weight on it right now, but all I have to do is push off with this leg and it'll send
Mhm.
me forward, right? And then I lose it. I lose it on the buckler side where I can't figure out where his sword is. So I jump onto this leg instead, and then I continue pressing forward
There you
because
go.
any lunge probably gets me killed.
Probably.
So I do that little hop to stop myself from
Mhm.
dying. He tries to shoot my sword arm. I believe I managed to just push it out of the way with the buckler and stab him. That's
Yeah,
probably our
that's,
least
I think that is
interesting
what
bout.
happens.
Besides
All
the
right.
little hop, this is probably the least interesting bout of our finals.
All right.
Um,
Next bout.
next
Is
bout.
this in slow? Speed it
This
up.
is oh yeah,
Two times speed.
two times. I think
I
he.
think this is the one where Baldwin kills you.
Yes, I believe so.
I tried to angle this one a little too.
Yep. So I come in with this nice preem shot. Um, I don't think I get anything on Baldwin. Baldwin is what? Did I win that one?
I guess.
The first one a double?
Maybe the first one was a double. I think the first one was a double.
Huh.
Weird.
I don't. Why don't I remember? I feel like I should remember that.
Probably. Too many shots to the head.
Too many shots to the head. All right. Well, that one I guess was a win.
Yeah, I think you got that nice preem shot on that one.
Is this the one where he tags my arm?
No.
Yes, it is the one where
Oh,
he
it
tags my
is?
arm.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Okay.
so I want to explain why I'm on my knees here, right? So when I was
I
younger
was so
and had,
confused.
when
I
I was
was like,
younger,
what?
when I was younger and had fresh knees, one of the things that I did to beat Baldwin a lot was I rock star slid into him. Um, Mainly
Yeah.
because I could just like throw like kind of how wrestlers like do knee walking, right?
Uh-huh.
So I would do that into Baldwin, mainly because I could just get under his sword and hit him at an angle he wasn't expecting. So what I did here was I attempted to do a knee walk to get my buckler up over my right arm and head so I could attack into
Mhm.
his rib. I completely fucked that up. Baldwin took a
Ill
step back
advised, yeah.
and tagged me in the bicep. So I stand up and now I'm left-handed. Baldwin graciously gives me a point here, right?
Yeah, I never do that. When I
I
take the arm, I take
I
the
would
advantage.
highly recommend nobody ever give a point, especially in the finals of your biggest kingdom tournament. Although Baldwin is a different breed.
Baldwin is
Baldwin
a different breed. Baldwin will always do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what tournament. It's like, if I take your arm, I'm losing my dagger.
Baldwin is probably one of the most honorable fencers that I've ever met in this
Mhm.
game. He loves a fair fight, and if he's got to give up an advantage that would give him, increase his odds by like 60% of winning, he'll do it. And we love that about Baldwin. Baldwin's our boy. So this is probably the most interesting sequence of our finals here, is what I would say. So I'm left-handed. The only thing I really know how to do with my left hand is a shot in second over
Mhm.
someone else's sword. So all of this is coming from my feet at this point. Um, so I'm standing still because I'm just fully expecting to die. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I have feet. So I throw a little bit of a probing lunge just to see what I can get. Baldwin is very defensive. He backs up. He's scared. I don't blame him. I'm a terrifying person,
It's
especially with these red pants. Hell yeah.
all the pants, man. It's all the pants.
So you can see I'm taking these steps back, but not only am I taking a step back, but I'm also taking a slight step out. You can kind of tell with this white line.
Mhm.
So I took this
No.
step out here, and then I take this step back. And Baldwin's not reacting to this footwork. So all I'm really doing is taking little steps offline when I'm taking these steps back, right? You can see me kind of on the outside of this white line, whereas before I was in line with it. And what
Mhm.
this is doing is it's giving me a superior position over Baldwin's sword. Now you can see I'm fully on the
Yeah.
outside of this white line here. So I'm fully to Baldwin's outside line here, and he's not adjusting to go that direction. So I'm trying to prep that shot in second over his sword to hit him because I think I can probably close it if I'm able to do it. So I'm fully
Yeah.
outside this white line with my front foot here. And now I'm just kind of trying to get something. I take this full step to the outside and take another step back. Now, even my back foot's outside that white line, whereas Baldwin is still in line with that white line. So I am fully to Baldwin's outside here. And then all that happens is I
Nice.
take that
Yep.
final lunge to that outside line
Mhm.
and shoot over his sword to disrupt that angle and get my body out of the way. And I managed to hit Baldwin in the neck with that.
Very nice.
So
And he
yeah,
dies.
he does die. He falls over.
Alexis makes a really great face at the end here too. If you look,
Look at
she goes,
this.
"Oh,
Oh, look at this face. You
wow,
can draw. Oh, look at this. Look at this face. Look at this face right there. She is shocked
great
over the moon.
reaction to that shot."
Great reaction.
All right, so that. Sorry, Baldwin, we skipped some of your fights, but it's because we took a really long time.
Yeah, I,
Um,
I did not expect this to be two and a half hours,
well,
Alexa.
we can work on being shorter if we do it again. But
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed that. If you want us to do more, let us know if you liked it. If you hated it, also let us know. That's good feedback. But I will hopefully be recording more tournaments and stuff in the future because I really like watching videos because I think it's very helpful to learn about what you're actually doing and not what you think you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Video is the best tool that we have right now in our arsenal. Anyone can do it. Everyone's got a cell phone. Tripods are cheap, especially in the day of TikTok influencers where you can buy cheap mics and cheap tripods. Um, so definitely record your fights. Try to record one fight every practice and send it to someone who you trust to analyze it for you. Um, yeah, and we'll keep on recording as long as people like what they see.
All right. Well, thank you for watching if you made it this far, and have a great day.